Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done my sit downs. You know I like my sit down, and I just wanted to come and sit down with you again with something that has been in my heart for a while now. Now, as you know, friends, that there are those special days set aside to be celebrated, just to name a few. There's Valentine's Day, where people are saying we are celebrating each other, how much you love each other, and you'll be like sending each other presents and telling each other that you love them, like Mother's Day and Father's Day. I personally don't follow that trend because I believe we must tell our people that we love them every day. So for me to have a day set aside, I understand what it's kind of like just for you to go an extra mile or just to pause and celebrate that, like really, and then as if it will mean much more than the other days that you tell them that you love them. So I'm not actually into those special days, but I'm not against those who are celebrating them. Same applies to Mother's Day. So I've been wanting to make a video on Mother's Day, particularly for personal reasons. I also don't celebrate Mother's Day, not because I'm not appreciating my mother or anything. Now, for me to not celebrate Mother's Day is because I lost my mother at a very young age. I was 22 when my mother died, and it was a sudden death. It was not something that you can prepare yourself for. Like, when a person is sick, then you can tell, you can see, like, oh, this is not looking good, and you start preparing yourself to be like, yo, what if this happens and stuff like that. And then when it eventually happens, you kind of like had some preparations done there in your mind and emotions. But when it's a sudden thing, like in my mother's case, it was a stroke, like once and done, and it was a very painful journey for me. Now, ever since that time, every year when we celebrate Mother's Day, for me, it brought with it some painful memories. I would, in the beginning, I used to cry a lot. Every time people are saying to Happy Mother's Day to their mothers and all that, and I'm just sad and, remembering my mother and how she was suddenly, taken out of this life like that by some sickness. So that was sudden even. Now, it was very painful. I don't celebrate Mother's Day, not because I don't love the mothers that are around me and all that, but they just bring some bad vibes with me. But I wanted to do a video in terms of, making it to turn around and be memorable for me, or at least something good must come out my experience. So when I grew up now, matured, and being a mother myself, I started to tell myself, you know what, Belo, you need to now shift your focus. You have been focusing on this pain for too long. Now you need to shift it by trying to remember and focus more on the things that are positive, that came out of your relationship with your mother. My mother used to want to visit her friends with me. Like she will be saying, Nana, let's go. I want to see Os Mang Mang, Kokoning Kwal. And I'll be like, so now what will I be doing? Go Os Mang Mang at the corner, mother. No, you'll be there talking your things, and I'm not, part of the conversation. Those are one of the things that I regretted about, after the whole thing. I'm like, I wish I could have gone with her to her friends, of which some of the visits I was invited to, I went, but then got bored. That's why I eventually was like, no, I'm not visiting with you and your friends anymore. So then I started to remember such things. My mother was actually showing love by doing that. She wanted me to be with her, every time I was with her, and then now she wants to visit her friend. Now she wants to take me along. I'm like, no, mother. So I started to remember such things, all the good things that she did, buying sweets for you, all those wonderful things that mothers do for their babies. So I started to remember my mother in a happy way, in a good way. But still, it did not convince me to celebrate Mother's Day because I've been sitting with this thing for the longest time. So when I look down, I just written some things that I wanted to share with you so that I don't offer them. So some of the things I think I should have done more, even though it's like I admit I was still young, and some of the things I have not yet grown into them because I was 22. I was doing my thing as a young, girl and young woman, you know. So the three things I wanted to share with you that will maybe, contribute positively to you, my friends. And that's if you are not doing those things and you still have a mother, you must do them because it's something that will give you peace once your mother is no longer here. Because when you have lost a mother like myself, and those things you have not done, you kind of like have regrets, in those areas. But really, sometimes there's nothing that you can do. It's just to accept the situation and move on. So I just wanted to share with you the three things. Okay, so number one, appreciate your mother, your parents, even your father. And Father's Day is coming. We are now in the month of June, so soon we will be celebrating Father's Day. Also, Father's Day for me, I'm not celebrating it. I don't have a father. He also died a sudden death, a very painful one for this, I will say, very shocking. He left us with questions, that no one could answer. So it's still very painful for me to celebrate Father's Day. So, like I said, these special days, man, I'm not for those special days because circumstances really around those days or around remembering that day is just hectic for me. So appreciate, number one, your parents. Appreciate your mother, appreciate your father while they are still alive. Okay? Take your time and appreciate them. Do things that shows that you appreciate them, so that when they are gone, you are not left with regrets that maybe you did not appreciate them enough, or this is, what was happening and you couldn't do this and that. So appreciate your parents as much as you can. Tell them that you love them as often as you can. Do things for your parents while they are still alive. We've got this thing of not doing enough for our parents. The next thing, when they are dead, we want to do all those things, extravagant things, to show how much we love them. And when you look, you see that at the time they were still alive, you did not do those things that they could see. You did not show them that love that you had for them because you were busy with your things, you were busy with your life. So my advice today to you is to appreciate your parents while they are still alive. Tell them you love them as often as you can, and do things for them while they still are alive and can see that you love them. I know it's not always about money. It's not always about buying them things. You can just do things around the house, free things that can show them that you love them. Respect your parents, obey them. Even the Bible tells us to obey your mother and your father so that your days may be extended and so that it may be well with you in life. So respect them, love them, appreciate them, tell them that you love them every given chance. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in, and please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. And yes, this was what was on my heart today to share with you. Respect your parents always.